Hey, so what's up? We're back here in Barcelona, day 2 at Algorand's premier event, Decipher. If you wanted to kind of kick it off with your name, your position, and a bit more about the project.
Yeah, thanks. Well, it's great to be here. My name's Kieran, CEO, founder, guy that does all the things at Compx. Compx is our platform that we brought together from a number of other platforms. We started back in November, brought in my old project, AlgoCator, and then we've got XUSD through XBack. We've got the best swap router on the network through Alamex, and we're just bringing in XNFT and a number of other really cool things as well. I mean, my role is just a bit of everything. So marketing, development, business, trying to raise funding, doing stuff like this. But all this stuff is really fun. So it's the best role to have.
And can you tell us about like the event? Like, how are you finding Decipher so far?
It's been awesome. We had a booth yesterday, and it was. I got to meet lots of people that I know and have talked to lots, but never met in person.
Right.
Just to meet those people and talk to them and get their thoughts and hear the things that people want from projects and what people are excited about is great. But it's just nice meeting people that I've talked to. Like me and Kirby from Akita were sitting across from each other at dinner last night, and we were just like, we didn't realize who we were. And I was like, "Are you?" And he was like, "Are you?" And we were like, "Hey, man." We've talked a lot in the past about like crypto and stuff, but also like family and stuff. Like we had like proper conversations, and we finally met in person. So that was really, really nice. Is that those kind of connections and relationships that are why we want to do IRL events.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, and it is way easier to make the connections and to sometimes build relationships in person. And it really does. It is cool to see the community come together from literally all over the world. People are flew from here. I talk to people from Singapore. We're from the States, all over Europe. So I mean, it's really a global community coming together here, which is really cool to see.
Yeah, that the party last night, the Folks Finance sponsored one, was great. It was
lit.
There's loads of people, and everyone was just. I think the general sentiment was that like the vibe of this Decipher has just been very much about community, but a community of the builders, the devs, the people that are like all in, the people that are like that have been here for the 5 years, the people that have been here for all this time and that are just like we believe and we love this space, and all these people are just awesome. So yeah, I'm just thankful to get to be here and meet all these kind of people that I've watched from afar, and then get to shake their hand and say, hey, thank you for all the cool stuff you built. Yeah. Here's all our cool stuff.
Yeah, let's do a swap. Yeah. Info swap. What area of Web3 would you say impacts most? I mean, obviously I think DeFi, but is there other areas like NFTs, RWA, or anything that you would say?
Right now, it's definitely very DeFi focused. Like I said, we've got XNFT coming in, which is our kind of foray into the NFT space. Now that's a project that's been around for a while. We've had 2 collections so far. We're bringing out a 3rd collection. So it's like 3,000 NFTs, and you can swap them for our ASA, the XNFT ASA, so then you can participate in DeFi, and then you can burn those and swap them back and forth. It's a really cool, innovative thing that we really wanted on the platform. So when the opportunity came up to get that platform, we jumped at it. RWAs, it's funny, our stablecoin XUSD it's a decentralized, over-collateralized stablecoin. So it's not backed by fiat. It's backed by other Algorand ASAs, including Algo, Galgo, Malgo, and a bunch of other great things like GoETH and GoBTC. But like a lot of the backing for that is from RWAs, from milled gold and milled silver. There's probably like 40% of the kind of collateral for XUSD is in RWAs, which we think is a really nice differentiator for us. Like, who wouldn't want a stable coin that's backed by like slightly less volatile assets?
Oh, I mean, and it makes a lot of sense, especially when you're talking to new people and kind of explain to them how these things work, let them know it is backed by real assets.
Yeah.
And I think that helps people feel more comfortable too, and they're like, well, that's where the yields, part of the yields coming from, and the underlying capital. No, I mean, and it makes a lot of sense, especially when you're talking to new people and kind of explain to them how these things work, let them know it is backed by real assets.
Yeah.
And I think that helps people feel more comfortable too, and they're like, well, that's where the yields, part of the yield's coming from, and the underlying capital. Can you talk maybe about why you decided to build on Algorand?
I got into the crypto space back in 2021. I did my research. I was on Coinbase clicking different coins and reading that little blurb that they give you.
I used to write those for OKX.
Well, thank you. That was how I did my due diligence. And the reason I chose Algorand, and this sounds so dumb, but it was the only crypto I read about, the only token, the only blockchain that made sense, that I actually understood what they were talking about. I to this day do not understand how Polkadot works. I can't.
Layer 0 and
yeah.
It's confusing.
Cardano is also just too complicated, too many words in there, lots of science. I knew I didn't want to get into ETH and Bitcoin and stuff because I'm a little bit of a contrarian. I was like, well, everyone else is doing it. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go somewhere else. And then I started using Algorand and I was like, this is great. And then it's ruined me for all other blockchains because the experience is just so nice. And as a developer, I don't have to worry about things forking or things being rolled back, and it's just easy. You don't have to think about the blockchain side of things as much when you're doing dev work. And the current work that's going on with AlgoKit 3 and stuff that was announced and talked about yesterday, it's going to make the experience so much, not just easier, but faster and more efficient. So I can't wait to kind of get into it.
Yeah, no, I mean, it has been cool to see sort of the evolution from TealScript, and now we have the AlgoKit. It's the accessibility of development over the last year has really opened the door. So it's been really cool to sort of see that and how everyone's experiencing it. Can you drop any alpha today? Anything upcoming on the roadmap that you want?
Yeah. I mean, we've got some. I was talking to some people yesterday, and we were brainstorming, and we have some stuff that we're going to be announcing on stage at our ecosystem showcase. But one of the things people have asked us for is new collateral types for XUSD. So the over-collateralized stable coin, you can put ASAs into it. So there's another project on Algorand called Lofty. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah,
I
have.
They tokenized real estate.
Yeah, it's very cool.
And people get tokens, and they're decentralized, so you can do whatever you want with the tokens. So we will be, in 2 or 3 weeks, we will be launching tokenized real estate that you can use as collateral to mint our stablecoin. So you'll be able to take your house and put it into our protocol and get XUSD at a 3% base rate, which we think is really cool. And just the composability is the thing for us. So using real estate as a token and doing stuff with it and opening up that capital and then being able to use those tokens anywhere else in the ecosystem we think is super exciting.
No, I think it's really cool, and again, I think it really bridges the gap for people between real-world assets and DeFi when you have things like gold or things like Lofty where you're tokenizing people's houses. That's a lot easier for people to conceptualize, and I think that's going to help drive adoption, which is really important.
Yeah.
Okay, this is kind of a fun question to wrap it up. If you could be on a podcast with anybody, like project, person, whatever, who would it be and why?
I think probably a lot of people, and I'm just going to say
Drop it. Yeah, sure.
I would like to be on a podcast with John Woods.
John Woods, wow, cool. You heard that, John.
Yeah, so I just, from watching him speak, and I've met him a couple of times in person.
Yeah,
he's just the best guy. You can see the passion in his eyes.
I know.
And then he starts talking about, then he starts getting into
the energy.
Cryptographic stuff and mentioning standards, and I'm just like, whoosh. I'm like, okay, John, calm down. But no, I'd love to just get an hour of his time just to pick that brain and go through things. But to be fair, a lot of the foundation folks are just so into it. Yeah. I mean, me and Dan Un from the head of DeFi were at the booth yesterday and just sitting there just going, what will we do? What about this thing? I was like, that's mental. He's like, no, but you could do this, this, and this. And I was like, So expect more announcements in the next couple of weeks as we implement the crazy things that Dan's come up with. But that's what we want to do. We want to do new things. We want to do exciting things. Things that make people go, oh, that's a bit risky. And you go, yeah, well, let's have some risk. Let's enjoy ourselves. Let's do some cool stuff and maximize those yields and build on the best chain that's around.
I couldn't agree more. And John, you heard that here first. You got to get on a podcast. Let's get it. Thank you so much for the amazing interview. I really appreciate it.
No worries, man.
Killed it.
Thanks.
All right. Cheers. Thanks, guys.